Hey folks, we're here in the Okanagan Valley in British Columbia. I want to tell a quick story today. I was doing a cross-Canada train trip once, and I was in one of those moods where you don't want to talk to anybody. I just had my nose in a book. And there was this little girl, and she came into the rail car I was in, and she'd run around it 3 times and then disappear for about 3 minutes. Then she'd come back and she'd do it again, and I realized what she was doing is she was running all the way up and down the train. And finally she sits down next to me. I'm the only person in the car, and she sits down right next to me and she goes, "Hi, I'm Allison." And I'm like, "Hi, Allison," in that tone where you make clear you don't want to talk to anybody. And she goes, "What are you reading?" And I said, "Oh, it's just a book for work." And she kind of like looks at me wide-eyed and goes, "You get to read books for work? My dad has to go to an office." And I was like, "Hey, you know what? That's kind of a cool reminder how cool my job is." And she says, "Well, what's the story?" And I said, "It doesn't really have a story." And she goes, "Well, don't all books have stories?" And I said, No, some just have knowledge." And she says, "Well, aren't stories knowledge?" And this is why I don't like talking to kids, because I'm afraid I'm going to mess them up. And I said, "Well, actually, a friend of mine says that the story is the basic unit of human understanding." And she goes, "Your friend is very smart." And I laughed, and finally I was like, "All right, tell you what, can you tell me why you're running up and down the train?" And she says, "Well, my family was afraid of this. They said that a train's like a big, long hallway. And they've always told me that my spirit is too big to be in a hallway. So I run to remind myself I'm free." And I was like, you know, that's kind of a cool way of looking at the world. I kind of think of myself like that too. My spirit's too big for hallways. And she goes, "Drew, I don't mean to be rude, but I don't think anyone whose spirit is too big for hallways would ever read a book without a good story." And then she gets up and she goes. And I realized that, you know what, I was spending my whole time on that train not writing anything new to my story. And like, don't make any of your days a day that doesn't add something to your story. And someone you've once told me that always just ask, you know, will it make a good story before you do it? And I think that you got to ask 3 questions. Will it make a good story? Will I be willing to tell it? And how likely am I to still be around to tell it? And with that, I figure I'm going to try to add something new to my story right now. So here's hoping I'm here at the other end.